Markets sink under rising geopolitical tensions. That is the big story of the day for the markets. This is Halftime Report. I am Reema Tendulkar. With me is my colleague Nigel D'Souza, and Anuj Singhal is also here with us to decode the kind of market fall that we've seen in a matter of about a half an hour. The Nifty slipped more than 150 points from the day's low. It's been a rapid waterfall kind of a decline seen in the benchmark indices. The mid-caps too are down close to about 50-odd points. Anuj, first on the markets, this whole thesis of no escalation on which the markets had recovered from its lows yesterday now seems to be challenged in the developments which have taken place in the first half. Given how precarious the situation is, what should an investor and a trader do now?
I think perhaps the trade happened early in the morning and that's gone now, Reema. My sense is your traders' stop losses should have been triggered by now and they should be out of this market right now. The volatility index is surging, by the way, right now. But it's still okay. I mean, the Nifty is down about 0.5%. That's par for course, really. The point you made, I think in the morning, there was a consensus that the escalation is not happening. I think that consensus is out of the window. And what you've seen today is the reversal of that long trade that played out today. Having said that, if you look at the broader market, it's still doing quite okay. The mid-cap index is still down, only about 0.1% or thereabout. And anyway, the market had reached the higher end of the band. The band was somewhere around 10,500, 10,900, 950. We were at the higher end, so perhaps this acted as a bit of a trigger. It won't surprise me if you see equally sharp recovery as well, especially in the last hour of trade, because while there's a lot of noise right now, you can't say that this is full-blown war. That's something that you can't say sitting at this point in time, but there's going to be a bit of a war premium on this market now. The volatility is going to go up, and you'll see that once again. Rupee is already seeing a big move. You're seeing money move once again into IT names. I think if you see over the last few minutes, there's a bit of a buying which is happening in stocks like TCS, for example, and some money being taken off the high beta. That will happen. But frankly speaking, I don't think a time to panic right now. Just perhaps stay out of the market, let this madness settle, and then take a fresh call.
Okay, Anuj, I joined in just to add my voice to yours. The Pakistani statement is not belligerent. It is also saying very much like the Indian Foreign Secretary's statement yesterday that there is a desire not to escalate it into anything worse. So on both sides, there seems to be that indication and very overt statements, on the record statements, that we do not want to escalate it. I think what has disturbed what could have been a bit of trust that this is a limited skirmish is this last bit of news that has come in, the official confirmation that an F-16 of Pakistan was indeed shot down. That contradicts these two official statements that came in, indicating that there will be no escalation. The action on the ground seems to be a little at variance, especially the shooting down of an F-16. So while this is the last event that we have, the statement preceded this shooting down, and that's why the market has reacted. As long as that statement was there, the market did not react very negatively because it did look like it will not escalate. It won't de-escalate. Both sides will be, indulging in some kind of a one-upmanship. But this shooting down has kind of put the balance in terms of what Anuj calls the war premium. And therefore, we have seen this kind of a sell-off. So now it's wait and watch in terms of how events unfold. Will the two nations' statement that no, we will not escalate hold water, or will these one-off events, I'm calling them one-off, hoping they are one-off, remain one-off? If there are more of that, then the market and of course the nation will start placing a premium on
Exactly. And I tell you why I was saying that, you want to see this madness settle down. Look at the Bank Nifty future. In last 5 minutes, it's gone up from 26,720 to 26,880. It's a 160-point recovery that you've seen on the Bank Nifty. If you pull out the intraday chart, that will be more prominent. In fact, now 26,900 as we speak, building up on the Nifty futures, and even the Nifty Bank Nifty futures, even the Nifty futures from the low of 10,746 now to 10,805. 60 points intraday recovery is what you have seen in the Nifty itself. So
The mid-cap index is also back in the green. So from the lows, it's recovered close to about 55 odd points. So just in the last 5 minutes, some recovery.
I think what's happening in this market is, you're buying the plunges. You're buying the plunges. You're buying, if there's big plunge, you're buying that and, selling the market once again if it's moving towards that 10,900, 950. And I think the market's made some kind of distinction, and this is on a lighter note. The Sensex is down 0.1%. Let's pull out the Karachi index and see what that's doing. I think that's down more than 1,000 points. I think 4 or 5% move happening on that. Yeah, 3.5% move on Karachi index right now.
Okay, let's get in some reactions. Former Air Marshal P.S. Ahluwalia is also here with us on the phone. Okay, before that, we also have B.S. Malik, the Lieutenant General, retired. Mr. Malik, afternoon. Given the situation in the morning and the developments, do you believe an escalation of border tension is likely from here on? What is your own opinion, sir?
My opinion is exactly what just now your economic speaker was talking about, the madness. Yes, it is some of the statements that you'll hear from the other side are close to that. So this madness will settle down. They'll see that their economic condition is not such that they can get into the war scenario. It will hover between sub-conventional and conventional below the war, far below the war. And this comes in the realm of conventional, this place going this way, that way. So I'll put it between sub-conventional and conventional, far below the level of the war between the two countries. So that is where the situation is likely to remain. So but let's not be upset. Of course, there is always that one-off chance of someone taking an irrational decision on the Pakistan side for reasons other than what is happening on the ground.
Okay, Mr. Malik, General Malik, I just want to read out the Pakistani statement was not very belligerent. It said today Pakistan Air Force undertook strikes across the line of control from within Pakistan airspace, making it very clear that they did not violate the LOC. They continue, and I'm quoting from the statement, this was not a retaliation to continued Indian belligerence. Pakistan has therefore taken strikes at non-military targets, avoiding human loss and collateral damage, sole purpose being to demonstrate our right, will and capability for self-defense. I mean, then it goes on, but it is largely saying it will not escalate. But thereafter, we have got official confirmation that a Pak F-16 was shot down. And that perhaps has bothered people, that while the two statements are indicating they don't want to escalate, the action on the ground appears to be still shooting across the border.
See, at the end of the day, these commercials, whether on the ground or in the air, see, we are talking of machines, very fast-moving machines. We are talking of the guns. Now, you can't have all the shells being calibrated. Something will go off the mark. Yeah. Similarly, for the aircraft. Now, you are trying to shoot because there is a capability which the aircraft on both the sides have, that you can remain on one side and set the bombs away about 50 to 60 kilometers. But for that, you got to fly in the straight direction of the target for a while. And if you are even a fraction of a second late, you would have crossed the LOC. So this kind of a thing should be read in this light.
Okay, sir.
And both the sides are making very, very careful statements, non-escalatory. And they are trying to avoid the military targets. But don't forget, the Pakistan side, all the bluster, all the talk that they had given that about warning India that they'll retaliate, they have to do something. They are now in a bind. So it is that one of those actions that they are showing their public is that, look here, don't worry, Indian Air Force has come down, but our Air Force is also taking them out or doing something. So it is part of that something, which is also translating on the ground about the artillery fire, which I feel very sad from both the sides, because ultimately they will be collateral damage, howsoever careful you can be, because civilians will bite on both the sides, which is very sad. I think they should refrain from it and not take this madness beyond the point.
Okay. But your fundamental theory being, looking at the statements and looking at the action, that this does not look like an escalation. And of course, the economic situation of Pakistan as well will not give them any elbow room for escalation.
Absolutely, absolutely. As I said, it will remain between sub-conventional and conventional, far below the war.
All right.
So it should not be read. And markets are too clever. They know the economic condition of Pakistan better than others. So and that is why they have fallen in comparison. You can see the way both the markets are reacting.
Yes, point taken, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much indeed, General Malik, for joining us with your take. Well, I guess one should read it as not de-escalation just yet, but certainly an on-the-record statement from both sides that they have no desire to escalate. As the General says, you know, a one-off shooting can always happen, even if you don't want to violate the LOC when you are making...
Actually, Lata, sorry to interrupt. We have the former Air Marshal, P.S. Ahluwalia, and he's been waiting on the phone line. Sir, thanks so much for waiting in. How should we read it? While the intent from both sides is not to escalate the matter, whether you read the Indian statement yesterday or even the Pakistani statement, the matter of the fact is right now that there was, a non-military strike by Pakistan on the Indian side. And, while we are awaiting an official confirmation from the government, ANI is reporting that the Pakistani, aircraft was also shot down. Should we read this as an escalation or should we not?
Okay, let's get on to brass tacks first. We have to wait for confirmation of the series of events. But what I think we need to assess is that firstly, it was a helicopter, a Mi-17, that crashed at Budgaon. It was an Indian Air Force helicopter. 4 people died. This needs confirmation, of course. So that's the story of Budgaon. People talking about, fighter aircraft plunging into the ground. The next thing is that this F-16 has been shot down, but the fact of the matter is it's been shot down by the Pakistani forces. The pilot ejected. This is about 3 kilometers from the LOC. Okay. The pilot has ejected. The pilot has landed safely, we presume. Okay. But this needs confirmation too. Okay. So it is not the Indian side that has shot up anybody. It is not the Indian side that is going to escalate. And furthermore, when he's landed in so-called Pakistan territory, that means across the LOC, India would not have shot him down unless he had crossed the LOC and come into Indian territory. Okay. So we've got to get these facts right, and then you can talk about escalation.
Okay, so the ANI report was, Air Marshal, the ANI report on which we are basing this conversation indicated that it was Indian retaliatory fire. But if you have information that it could have been more Pakistan fire, then that puts a very different color on things.
Absolutely, and that's what you need to know. But of course, this has to be confirmed by our MOD. Yes, sir.
We are awaiting confirmation. We are only reporting an ANI story at this point in time. Official confirmation of even the shooting down of a Pakistan F-16 has not come. We are still going with an ANI report. And your spin could well be right that if the pilot was seen ejecting from the aircraft, it probably was in Pakistani retaliatory fire and not ours. But your overall impression is one of both sides not wanting to escalate?
No, I would say not both sides. The question is who's on unfavorable terms, and that is Pakistan. Okay. Because Pakistan is always in a state of denial. Okay. They have denied that any action was taken by the Mirages yesterday morning in Balakot, and they have denied it completely, notwithstanding the fact that it has happened. Now, why do they deny it? They deny it basically for 2 reasons. Number one, they do not want to climb the escalatory ladder because they are in no position to carry out any kind of conventional warfare. Because of the economy, because they do not have the resources, they do not have the firepower. I mean, the combat potential, if you take it versus India, they are nowhere near us. Okay. And thirdly, of course, they've got, problems on their western flank. That is Iran. They've got problems with Afghanistan. And I think it will be difficult for them to manage everybody together. So they do not want a conflict situation. They do not want the escalatory ladder. Yet they want to save face in front of their own audience, Pakistani citizenry, and also to show our audience that, they're all well and happy and they're strong.
All right,
but the fact of the matter is, that is why they keep getting into a state of denial.
All right, sir. Thanks a lot for your time today. Nitin Gokhale is also with us. He's a national security analyst. Nitin, hi, good afternoon. Your thoughts on what's happening right now? Some are describing it as a face-saving gimmick by Pakistan. Do you think it's that, or is this really some kind of escalation?
No, good afternoon. I don't think it's some kind of an escalation because I've been saying since yesterday that this is to be expected. Pakistan has been sort of dealt a body blow to its image, especially the Pakistani army, and therefore it has to do something to appease its domestic audience and also try and regain that high ground that it enjoys within the Pakistani establishment. Therefore, this was to be expected, and the Indian air defenses are on the absolute high alert since yesterday. And therefore, it's very difficult if you look at, read the Pakistani Foreign Office press release very carefully. It does say that we did not go into Indian territory. We stayed within our territory and tried to bomb non-military, non-civil targets, which I don't understand. There are no more non-military, non-civil targets in India. We don't run terrorist camps. So what were they trying to hit? Some bare hilltop or some jungle somewhere? So we do not know. So it's for effect, which was expected. India is prepared for it. Indian establishment, the security establishment is prepared for it. What I fear rather, and which should be everybody's duty to be alert, is an asymmetric terrorist strike which is deniable, which can be denied in bigger centers of India, bigger cities of India. That is what Pakistan is capable of and will try to do, rather than a military escalation, which seems today in this age and time when information overload is with us, that every small little detail is put out. But actually, if you see in a larger context, this does not really warrant the kind of panic I'm told your market is showing, the areas that you operate in. So I think it will settle down in another 24 hours. There will be pressure on Pakistan to bring the temperatures down. They've done their bit, so I think let's hold our horses for the moment.
Okay. No, that's a sage interpretation and sane interpretation, Nitin. Actually, the markets have recovered a goodish bit from the plunge they took when the shooting down of the F-16 hit the lines.
That recovery is getting sold into once again. So
I spoke too soon.
it's very volatile.
No, see, actually, I would more worry because the currency and the bond markets have reacted. They usually have a little more impact, and since they are largely by institutional players, that one is a slightly more mature reaction. And if that is negative, we should worry a little more.
I think even dollar rupee, if you see the chart.
Dollar and bonds.
Yeah, it was trying to recover, but that recovery is getting sold into even there as well. So a bit of a symmetric move happening right now in currency market and also in the equity market as well. In fact, even the mid-cap index is once again almost slipping into the red. And let's see, right now, I think the market just perhaps, time has come to look at some kind of, in situations like these, to not have the market trade for some time.
Oh no, please.
No,
let's not get that way. No. But Nitin, your fundamental point is that in 24 hours things should... Okay. All right, I think we've lost that line. But I think the interpretation of all the experts seem to be that it will not escalate and things are more likely to settle down. These would be just both the Pakistani side just wanting to restore its credibility or its image to its own, people. Perhaps it's just that, and let's wait and see. The trickle of events may settle down. At the moment, the market, at least, has not lost so much. I mean, this is a normal market movement. It's not a very, very serious plunge. Ultimately,
if you see just down 0.5%, it feels fairly normal. It's just that it's fallen 150 points from the top of the day. I guess now we'll await clarity on this Pakistani Air Force F-16 jet, which was shot down. Was it an account of an retaliatory move by India, or was it an account of a move from Pakistan itself? Because we saw the pilot eject himself.
I think just one point that if you could get a reaction on this is they're saying that Pakistan has closed the airspace now. Are there any international flights from India that pass over that particular space? That's something that we'll require clarity on. And does it impact some of those flights that go to the Middle East or even Dubai? We'll wait for an official, comment on that. And do the international flights that leave India as well get impacted if, I read a line out there that Pakistan has shut their airspace. So fair to say, as of now, it appears that Pakistan has done more, face-saving or an image-building exercise. They had to retaliate. They've done it. But intention from both the sides says that we don't want to escalate. And that's something that we are working with, at least as of now. We haven't had a break in a while, so let's do one thing. We'll slip into a short break. Remember, the Nifty is down nearly around 160 points from the high point of the day. You come back, we'll tell you how to trade the Nifty. Ashmi Gujral and Ashish Chaturmurthy will join with us. Stay with us.